You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast as we progress through the IPL. We've got another 3 games to talk about. We've got fixtures from the weekend to talk about, and we have to talk to each other. I'm Jack Hope. I'm joined by Max Rowe Brown. How are you doing, Max?
Yes, we have to. That's the worst bit about it, isn't it? It's good, all good talking about the cricket, but unfortunately, we have to do it with one another. Never mind.
What's the worst conversation you reckon you've ever had in your life?
I don't know. I can't think of anything specific, but like you get those, those ones where you're introduced to someone who's a friend of a friend, like at a pub or a social setting, and you instantly realise how dull they are, and also instantly realise that everyone else has walked off. They're bad, aren't they? They're tough.
They're tricky ones. Obviously, we live in London. Sometimes you go to not London, and people will talk to you about how they've never been to London. And how much they hate it, and how they're never gonna go. And you're like, thanks. We probably won't miss you. They're my favourite weird conversations. I actually quite like those ones because they're so.
It's different, isn't it? You don't get it in London, so.
Kind of, yeah. I've heard people complain about London a lot in London, but I've never heard someone in London say, I've never been to London and I'm never going to go. There's that. Max, before we get going, a reminder to our people watching, listening, click like and subscribe on whichever platform you are following along the podcast on. And I'll plug the Patreon again, patreon.com/thecricketpod for access to our Discord and bonus content. We'll be recording another show with Mr. Dan Weston at some point in the next 7 days. The last episode was on ranking the different T20 franchise leagues, plus the 100. 100 sneaked in there, didn't it? Although it didn't technically meet the criteria, the format criteria.
Well, it counts for stats, so it can count for us.
Yeah. I think annoying. All the rumours are that's going to become a T20 competition. So let's just. I don't think it voided the process. That's my point. Max, 3 matches we're talking about: CSK v Sunrisers Hyderabad, RCB v Rajasthan Royals, and Sunrisers v Mumbai. So it's a double Sunrisers episode.
Yeah.
Let's start with
the quality of cricket really shines through in a double Sunrisers episode, doesn't it? The first one, CSK SRH, the Battle of the Dunce Brigade. One of your favorite sayings, Jack. This one, I think, like 2 bald men fighting over a comb. That was the vibe I got from this game. CSK in Chennai, batting first, and for once, it was actually worth it on the IPL highlights packages for showing the first ball because it was a wicket for Mohammad Shami as Sheikh Rashid was out. Sam Curran was back in the side. He batted 3, didn't do very well. And the only bright spots for CSK in that batting lineup, Ayush Matra with another useful-ish 30, and Devalt Brevis coming in, making his first appearance of the season. And he looked pretty good, actually. He was going pretty well, getting some momentum, maybe threatening to put up an actual score for Chennai that would have been a bit tricky to chase at the Chipok. But, well, Kamindu Mendis bringing out all the Glenn Phillips action with an absolute stunner of a diving catch on the boundary, ended that dream, and it all fizzled out for CSK as they limped to 154 all out off 19.5 overs. And in response, all Sunrisers had to do was not be 12 for 4 or whatever it was. And they managed it. They did start quite badly with Abhishek Sharma out second ball. Not quite as bad as CSK, but doing some, doing their best to keep up. But after that, Ishan Kishan came in and sort of plodded around for a bit, made sure there was no danger, and they finished it off reasonably comfortably with over and over left, 5 wickets in hand. It wasn't a very good game of cricket, but we shall talk about it now.
It was like I was sort of watching this, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh my god, these teams hate winning." Like they nobody really batted well in the whole game. I would say I'd venture that maybe Brevis aside. It was really, I think it was a combination of the pitch and
confidence,
just confidence, just bad cricket, just bad cricketers, bit of bad luck, and that meant it was actually quite an engaging cricket match. Like if you took all the context away from it, obviously we know that they're bottom of the table and that the outcome of this game was relevant, and that there's virtually nothing on the line. There's not even like a higher draft pick for the team that loses or something like that. This game's completely inconsequential. In the UK this weekend, there's a boxing match between two people who are
terrible boxers.
Yeah, well, like one of them's all right. One of them's actually pretty good, has had championship fights. The other one is like a nobody in boxing terms. And they're different weight classes, and they've been forced into the same weight class. One of them couldn't do it. They've got this weird dehydration clause. So they can't drink any water before the fight, or one of them can't. The other one can drink as much water as he wants. But they are the sons of Chris Eubank and Nigel Benn. So there's sort of this weird media circus around it. The actual sport itself is completely inconsequential, and this game sort of was that, except without the blood feud. There was nothing riding on it. But if you took the game in isolation, Max, I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was the worst game I've ever seen. I actually quite liked the sort of being dragged through the gutter.
Okay,
so to speak.
You've succumbed to Stockholm syndrome. That's what's happened.
No, there was. What do you want from a T20 match? You want with 5 or 6 overs to go.
Well, you want
it to go either
all
way.
results to be in play.
All results were in play. Sunrisers looked like they'd be bowled out at one point. CSK were on the march. There was even a 5 wides from a spinner. You don't get that very often, do you? Noor Ahmed missing badly. So yeah, look, as an actual game, it was good Friday night entertainment. Poor. Yeah. Like if we're talking about the two teams, we've talked about the two teams. They're shit. Yeah. There's nothing.
Like quite astoundingly bad as well, though. Just not like there's a couple of flaws in this side and they're quite obvious and they've been exposed. It's genuinely like all through the sides, both of them. They're batting and they're bowling. It's been shocking. It's quite odd.
Well. Yeah.
Although Harshal Patel does find himself in the purple cap race.
As always, as he
does.
Is the Pope Catholic?
No, he's dead.
Harshal Patel. No, what was the current status of the Pope being Catholic?
I don't know.
I was told
by my father-in-law that there's a debate as to whether the Pope actually is Catholic. So I don't know what to believe anymore, Jack.
Is that Phil? Or Pete?
Yeah.
Pete. Yeah, I knew it was a P name.
Pete.
Yeah.
Should we get back to the cricket?
Let's get back to the cricket. We don't need to be debating theocracy, do we?
No.
Yeah, like Max, you're right. They are astoundingly bad. From an analyst's point of view, or from an analytical point of view, it's really hard to understand what CSK are aiming to do. I mean, there were more changes. Ravindra's gone. Sam Curran is the new number 3. Devil Brevis in. Shivam Dubé now batting further down the order. That might have been an entry point thing, I suppose. Like maybe they didn't want him in after 9 overs, but also isn't that exactly when you want Shivam Dubé in?
Yeah, exactly. Like they've had Jadeja at 4 for like 4 games in a row now, and I think it's fairly well documented that his record against spin isn't particularly good, and that's what you're going to be facing when you're in at 4, which is what Shivam Dubé is in the side to do, to hit spin. It's
DJ Shanker's out.
Thank God.
They're
he's still there.
They're in total disarray. Like they picked the wrong team. Like I think it probably for some of these players has gone a bit. It's if you look back at like the commentary around no Ashwin in this game, if you look back at like sort of the commentary around the auction stuff, most people thought CSK had picked a fairly good team for their own conditions. I think where people have been sort of surprised is like Gaikwad being out is a big miss for CSK. Yeah. That's absolutely massive. And then neither Conway or Ravindra have turned up to the party whatsoever. Sam Curran has been, they've sort of tried to use him as a batter who bowls a bit. That's probably not who Sam Curran is. Like, so that's really awkward. And then there's like a litany of like Deepak Huda and Vijay Shankar. You would probably expect them to be the guys who average 25 at a strike rate of 130, and I don't think I haven't got the numbers up in front of me, but I'd be surprised if either of them was doing that this year. So basically, either the batters, some of them are probably a little bit over the hill, some of them are being used the wrong way, some of them are just not as good as we thought, or just not as good as they thought, and you've got this sort of car crash situation. But then on the bowling side, they'd not be fantastic either. Like you would think, wouldn't you, Ravindra, Noor Ahmed, and Ashwin would win you a lot of games in an IPL, but I don't think the three of them have really turned up as a collective once. Noor Ahmed's having a pretty good season. Ashwin, let's get Ashwin's numbers up. My feeling on Ashwin.
Deepak Huda's numbers up while we're here.
Yeah, let's have that.
He's averaging 7.25 at a strike rate of 74.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Yeah, Peter Shanker's actually he's actually averaging 39 at a strike rate of 130. But
well, I take it back.
That is very skewed by 169 not out. Which I don't
Ashwin,
think
yeah. Ashwin is having his worst season in the IPL ever. He's conceding about a run and a half more than. Well, actually, if you look at his career average, this is skewed because he's played forever. So he played in an era where 6 and over off a spinner was normal. His career economy is 7.19. This year it's 9.29.
Wow.
So
even with the change in the way the game is playing, that is quite stark.
Yeah. So
they've
all gone wrong.
They picked a team for a plan which seemed theoretically okay, and then it turned out a combination of the players not actually being able to do the plan they wanted, not using the players to do the plan they wanted, and they've all actually been worse than normal, means that they're crap.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same for Sunrisers as well, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah. I've seen basically it is the same problems. I've seen that Hype Machine's gone into overdrive though. Anil Kumble, Devil Brevis could be CSK's next big star. So he's had one game. He didn't even get picked at the mega auction.
25 in a losing effort. What more do you want?
I was actually surprised he didn't get picked by anyone. Because there are teams with not enough overseas players. So
that is true.
I am surprised that nobody took a chance on Devil Brevis.
Especially when, some of the picks that we've had, Jacob Bethel, for example, got picked up. I guess he's got the bowling. Well, we haven't seen him, but he was in the squad. Who's the Kiwi guy?
He's played a game. The Kiwi guy, Bevan Jacobs.
Bevan Jacobs, yeah. So it's a bit surprising for a man who has actually played some IPL and looked like he was half decent. Someone that was touted as Baby AB. You give him another shot.
I wonder whether that's part of the problem is that he was picked way too early for Mumbai Indians and then played way too early for Mumbai Indians as well, and probably doesn't have I don't watch him bat and think there goes AB de Villiers. I think he's quite a different player to AB de Villiers. So maybe because he didn't do amazingly well, he did sort of all right, and maybe because he didn't literally look like AB de Villiers, people were like, "Well, he's rubbish." But he's all right. I mean, he's an all right cricket. He's 21 years old. He's not a bad choice. He's about to turn 22. He's not a bad choice if you're thinking about a young overseas player that you might get for 3 years as they sort of get better and better and better. Like I feel like that would have been a very sensible person to pick up, and he might have a good career for CSK. We will see. Anything else in this game, Max? We talked a lot about CSK there.
I don't think we should spend too much of our time talking about these two anymore. Yeah, we've got to talk about Sunrisers again as well in a bit. So
cool. Let's move on to the good game. RCB v Rajasthan Royals. This was on Thursday night. What happened?
I still don't know what happened, Jack, because it was a real bizarre showing from the Rajasthan Royals. They've played 3 games in a row now where they have is it bottling? Is it not being good enough? I don't know what it is, but they've thrown away so many good positions, and they managed to throw away about 4 good positions in the same game this time. But before we get to that, RCB batted first. Virat Kohli scored a 70, and everyone contributed a bit in the top 4. Tim David came in at number 4, elevated for the last few overs. Nice, good from RCB, using their resources correctly. It's not a difficult decision to make, but a lot of teams don't make those decisions. So well done to them for being sensible. 205 for 5 they put up. Deshpande, Deshzaster, the pick of the bowlers for an RCB point of view, with 0 for 36 off 2 overs. But everyone took a little bit of a beating, aside from Hasaranga and Jofra Archer. Yeah, I mean, all round a pretty good effort from RCB in general. Devdutt Patagal scoring at 185 as well, showing a little bit of excitement. But then Rajasthan got their turn, and Jaiswal got things absolutely flying. 49 off 19 before he perished to Josh Hazlewood. Then a bit of a Rajasthan Royals slowdown. Krunal Pandya took a couple of wickets. RCB got themselves back into the game. But this wasn't, before Rajasthan at the halfway stage were, 90 odd for 2 off 9. I think at the halfway stage, they needed about 9 and over to win the game with 8 wickets in hand. It was like, you're chasing 200. It's not easy ever chasing 200, but they were in charge, you'd say, at that stage. And I think the sort of the win predictors at the time probably show that. There was a way to go, but they were not cruising, but on top. But Parag fell. Dhruv Jurel slowed down a bit. There was again, Hazlewood came back and bowled really well. Took another couple of wickets, and at that point, RCB were streets out ahead. They'd taken the wickets they needed, but there was a fight back again from Rajasthan Royals, from the lower order, who doesn't actually exist, and it looked like they'd done it. Looked like the bowlers just needed to carry them over line, and then again, Hazlewood back 2 and 2 on a hat trick, and Rajasthan Royals fell into a heap and ended up losing by 11. But they would. I wouldn't say it was as bad as before, where they'd basically won the game on a couple of occasions. But they were strong favourites at least twice in this chase, and still managed to cock it up.
Yeah, it probably wasn't as big a collapse as the LSG one, which I think is the game you're referring to. Yeah. But it could also be the game before that, to be fair.
Really,
but it was a bit of a collapse. I mean, look, as we gave credit to Mitchell Starc, I think lots of credit has to go to Josh Hazlewood, who bowls the 17th and 19th overs, goes for 7 runs overall. In those overs, he bowled 6 dots and took 3 wickets. So that's sort of 9 dots, isn't it? I don't know. Do you count a dot on a wicket? I mean, they can be runs off a wicket, I suppose, can't they? So 3 wickets plus 6 dots. That's really putting the squeeze on. I would say at the beginning of the 17th over, Rajasthan were fairly big favourites. ESPN has. I've got the retrospective on ESPN. Just to 80 sort of follow along.
At that point,
well, ESPN says at the end of that, at the beginning of that over, they had a 51% chance of winning. I would say that Rajasthan were actually a fair bit ahead of the game, a fair bit ahead of that rather at that point, but not at the end of it. He picks up 1 over in that one, and the 19th over is excellent, isn't it? 2 wickets, just a single run. Badness, basically, isn't it? It's just like more badness by Rajasthan Royals. I don't know if you've seen in the news, Max, that the Rajasthani Cricket Association has complained to the Rajasthan government that Rajasthan Royals are match fixing. And look, I think that's sore loserism or saltiness or some sort of dispute about power that we don't really have a full view of. But
it's a very bizarre accusation to make about the team in your own state, isn't it?
if you were match fixing, you would have to do crazy shit like this to lose. So it is quite funny. Like,
But you wouldn't make it
I'm
that
not saying they
obvious,
are
though,
match
would
fixing
you?
this, but
If you were match fixing, you wouldn't make it that obvious. You'd
you would
just
lose earlier.
yeah, you'd like, you
Yeah,
don't
maybe.
want to, you don't want to leave it that late. That's not good. Come on,
Yeah,
you got these. There's some. I mean, there's some experienced match fixers, right, running around in cricket from past evidence. They surely, if you're going to match fix, you'll get some of those in to consult as consultants on the best way forward. And
yeah, that is
I
true.
can't for the life of me believe that the way Rajasthan have lost their last 3 games is the product of match fixing, other than just sheer incompetence. Because, like, let's face it, the top 6 is quite good, and then it goes Shubham Dubey, Jofra Archer, Wanindu Hasaranga, and I mean Hasaranga at 9 in theory should be quite useful. You think, well, maybe he could bang a 6 and win us this game, but he looked like he'd never held a bat before when he went out. Jofra Archer getting out first ball probably not very helpful either, because he's usually quite reliable for at least one boundary. And Shubham Dubey's not very good at cricket, so it does just get to a point where once you've got Hetmeyer, you're basically there if there's any sort of concept of runs on the board. And I think rather than the games against Lucknow and Delhi, where they like genuinely lost the plot because those games were in the bag and they somehow conspired to just not win, on this occasion it was probably a little bit more like that they ran out of quality at the wrong moment. Like, yeah, they were ahead of the game at that halfway stage, but Parag had just got out, perhaps foolishly at the time, which then means that you had what they had. It was Nitish Rana and Dhruv Durrell in, who are good cricketers, but it's a noticeable drop off probably from someone like Jaiswal and Parag when he's playing well. And then once those two are out, it's you're banking on Hetmeyer, and he didn't go, so that was that. But yeah, I mean, also a lot of credit to RCB for coming back at home as well. They've won a game at home, Jack.
They've won a game at home. That pretty much seals the playoffs for them, doesn't it? Because they'll win all their away games. The thing with RCB, Rajasthan that is sort of bizarre is that with the impact sub, it should be possible to bat deeper than 6.
But they need the impact sub to bat deep to bat.
Yeah, but they don't do that. If Suryavanshi wasn't available, Samson would be doing the same thing.
That's
they wouldn't
true.
have an extra batter. They would just have another opener coming in, who's probably a better opener. Like, that might help you win this match. But weird team. RCB though, you're right, Max. This is the 6 wins in 9 matches, beyond people's wildest dreams.
Very un-RCB, isn't it?
They need to win 2 games from 5 to make the playoffs. It would be an epic collapse if they didn't. They're playing good cricket. Like, they're not winning. Luckily, they're winning. They're winning in style, and when they lose, it's not like they're not really dismal defeats. They're just good. They're a good team. They've got coming up, Max. Games v Delhi, CSK, and Lucknow, and they finished with Sunrisers and KKR. So they've actually got, I would say,
decent running.
Easiest schedule you could hope for. Obviously, with the exception of that Delhi game, that's a tough one. But CSK, Lucknow, Sunrisers, and KKR have been pretty iffy. I think we're in a position now where we can start penciling them in. They might even finish in the top 2. Like, they're Gujarat and Delhi, 6 wins, 2 losses. The odds are that one of them is going to lose their next match, and then RCB could be in serious contention. Automatic progression through the playoffs. Is it their year?
Could be. It could be the year for a new champion. I mean, I like them. They're a decent side. They're well put together. They've got a solid, opening partnership. Phil Salt's he didn't, go so quickly in this particular game, but he's been pretty consistent at getting them off to good starts, and I think that's been working really nicely alongside Virat Kohli's just the way he plays cricket. You've got, Phil Salt going off fast, Virat Kohli being there as well and keeping things ticking, and then sort of speeding up a little bit when Phil Salt's out. Padikal's been fairly handy at times when needed, and when it comes to the back end and finishing the innings off, Tim David has been the Tim David that we want Tim David to be. And then the bowling. I mean, Hazelwood's been a star with the ball, and that's been big for them. And Suyash has been fine, and Krunal Pandya has been pretty effective. So, like the main concerns, I suppose, we have from a bowling point of view, which is is Hazelwood going to stay fit and be consistently good? So far, the answer to that is an unequivocal yes. And is the spin going to be an issue with Suyash Sharma? And so far, he's been fine. Like he's held his own. I think is probably where the level would be, and that's been perfectly good enough for RCB and what else they've got going on. So it's a nicely oiled machine they've got going. So yeah, they've got every chance. They've got a way of playing that's quite consistent. So they could get blown out of it in a single game by one of the teams when it comes to knockout cricket, but that could happen with anyone. But they're unlikely, I think, aside from maybe there was the Punjab game where everything went wrong, but mitigating circumstances there. I think that, they're unlikely to be the kind of side that could just fall in a heap at any given moment, which is a surprising thing to say about an RCB side, but here we are.
Yeah. Right, we're going to take a break. Going to come back with one more game and a little look at the weekend.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Cricket Podcast. A reminder to click like and subscribe on whichever platform you are listening on. Do it now. Get your phone out, or I don't know, do people use tablets anymore? Get your tablet out and click those buttons. And do us a favour. Max, Sunrisers against the Sunrisers doubleheader. It's the episode we've all been waiting for. They played Mumbai on Wednesday. Let's get through that one quickly, and then we'll take a look at the weekend.
We'll get through it as quickly as Mumbai got through Sunrisers' top four, because they were 13 for 4 inside 4 and a bit overs, because the Sunrisers batters decided they would just keep hitting the ball in the air to fielders. For no clear reason they did this, but they did do it, and it was bad. Then Heinrich Klaasen turned up and scored some runs, so that the people who had gone to watch this game actually got to see some cricket. And they ended up on 143 for 8, which, bearing in mind where they started, is probably not the worst performance you could imagine. But it wasn't good enough, because Rohit Sharma did the Rohit Sharma thing, where he's playing in a game that's basically already won, but then goes and scores a fairly brisk 70 to make absolutely dead sure that there is no chance of a stuff up from the Mumbai Indians side. And that's what happened. And then it was over. And it was pretty bad. Also, apparently, Abhinav Manohar trod on his stumps. I saw the wicket. It looked like he was bowled, but I wouldn't have blamed him if he would just turned around and went, "Fuck this, I'm off."
Yeah, I'd have blamed him.
Unfairly.
Runs. Like Sunrisers, they did it again, didn't they? Basically, Klaasen finally got some runs, or did a thing.
It really mattered.
It's completely irrelevant, the innings, unfortunately, to their chances of progression. Probably the really only notable thing I would say from this entire match, from a player level, is that Rohit Sharma's gone back-to-back with 50s and fully confirmed his removal from the flop watch.
Flop
watch. Yeah, let's go with the flop watch. He batted well. Mumbai bowled well. Mumbai, was that their fourth or their fifth win in a row? Dangerous. Fourth win in a row. Dangerous team.
On the charge, aren't they?
They are very much on the charge.
Now.
I would be very nervous if I was a Punjab fan, and I would be very, very, very sad, probably, if I was a Lucknow fan. I think
4 on the bounce from Mumbai.
Those two teams have got a big job on to
Yeah.
claw back Mumbai or to get up with Mumbai. Put Punjab in the game in hand.
Arguably in their hands, though. LSG Mumbai is tomorrow. Punjab play Mumbai on the 11th of May as well. And Mumbai have got to play Gujarat and they've got to play Delhi. So, they're in a good spot now from where they were, but they do have some work to do to get over the line.
Granted, it's not a given, and their 4 wins have come against Sunrisers. Where am I?
Yeah, 2 Sunrisers and CSK.
Yeah, sorry, the list up slightly wrong. And what was the other team they beat? Did they beat someone good? Delhi.
Yeah, Delhi.
That's a proper win. Give them Delhi. So they've won 4 in a row, but only one of them counts.
Yeah.
No, I think in all seriousness, it's are they probably favourites to make the playoffs at this point? Who are the favourites to make the playoffs? Gujarat and Delhi. RCB.
A few weeks ago, I think I said Gujarat, Delhi, RCB, and Mumbai. I'll stick with that.
Yeah,
the top 4, I think. I know Punjab have got a game in hand, but I think Mumbai are a better side. They're putting things together now, and you do have to remember that the first half of the season of Mumbai didn't have Bumrah in it, and that's about as big a difference as you could have in a cricket team.
Yeah, that I mean, it's a huge upgrade from like Shwani or whichever guy they were giving a day out to. Whichever
they are still rolling out Vignesh Patur for some reason.
Give other teams a chance, maybe.
Maybe
the IPL's fixed, isn't it? So someone's got to get.
Yeah,
allow them to get.
Got to make sure there's skin in the game when it comes to the final round of fixtures, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking at Punjab's running. They've got KKR, CSK, Lucknow, Delhi, Mumbai, and Rajasthan over their last 6 matches.
And they can win 3 of those.
Do you reckon 3 gets you there?
8 wins.
I feel like 8 wins gets you in the conversation, but then I also don't see their net run rate improving by 0.5. Yeah, tough. It's gonna be tough.
They can win 4 of those. In fairness, KKR, CSK, LSG, Rajasthan.
I mean, they're teams that you would want to play. I think.
If you had to win 4 games, you'd pick them. Apart from Sunrisers.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good run in. Max, we look at the weekend.
Yeah, let's do that.
So we've only got 1 game today. Kolkata Knight Riders v Punjab Kings. What are your thoughts?
So I mean, I actually kind of fancy KKR. Just I don't know. They're not doing very well at the moment. They're down in 7th, but they've shown flashes, right? If we're going to go by the net run rate game again, they're down there with a 3-5 record, but their net run rate is better than Punjab Kings, who are 5-3. Some of that is just one-off games where they absolutely pumped people, but I think they're okay as a side. They're just a little bit flimsy, a little bit flaky, I suppose, but they've got the tools to cause Punjab problems, and we spoke about it last time, I think, and like some of the sides that Punjab are putting out, like I don't think anyone's having Xavier Bartlett in your top 4 overseas players shouldn't be in any of the squads as an opening bowler. So there are frailties in the Punjab side, and I think KKR, I'm backing them today.
If you look at KKR's results, they obviously lost that sort of. This is the reverse fixture of the freak game, isn't it? Where Punjab defended 111. If you've bowled a team out for 111, you have done 99% of the job required to win a cricket match, and they've lost that one. So that's a bit of a surprise. And I think they lost by 4 runs to Lucknow the week before that. And again, in that match, they scored 234. And similar to the bowling effort, if you scored 234 runs, you've probably done 80% of the work you need to secure a victory. So KKR probably have played cricket that should have earned them an extra win, but because it's a sort of a game of fine margins, they've only got the 3 wins.
Yep.
They will probably think that they can claw their way back into it if they win against Punjab. So I don't think it's a case like Chennai v Sunrisers yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, it felt
that's
like
full
a
on. That's
game.
a contractual obligation game of cricket.
Yeah, exactly. Like CSK played another weird batting lineup. SRH sort of went through the motions a little bit. If you're playing one of them, I feel like if you are a team playing for something, there's a good chance at least one of the players in the opposition is just thinking about their flight home. At this point in the season, probably not gonna, pull out a career performance to beat you. KKR aren't in that camp yet. They will still believe, I expect, that if they do win against Punjab, that they'll have an outside shot. Yeah. So I think that could be quite a good game. I have a feeling KKR might spring a surprise too. Tomorrow, Max, in the morning, Mumbai v Lucknow. This is a game with a lot riding on it. I think this is Lucknow's season on the line. That's my call.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. It's big. I mean, it's big for both of them. I think it's Mumbai will be maybe not. Is it as important for Mumbai? It possibly is, to be honest. Like for both of them, it's obviously putting yourself in a good spot. They're both on the same record, right, with the same number of games played. The only difference is the net run rate. So I think for both sides, it's huge, especially if Punjab did win today. I think the importance of this game relies on the outcome of that to some extent as well. But I'd back Mumbai. I know 4 in a row, maybe they're due a defeat, but they're a better side than Lucknow. And I don't know, any more news about Mayank Yadav?
I haven't heard anything. I will Google his name live on the show to hear what the reasons
and see
are.
what the Hindustan Times has to say, or Times of India.
India Today is
India
the
Today.
source for this occasion. It just says his return has been delayed.
We knew that bit.
That was from 3 days ago.
We worked that out. Okay.
There is effectively
happening,
no easy to access news on Mayank Yadav.
It's not happening.
They could really do with him, I would say.
They really
could.
It would make such a huge difference.
The fit version of him as well.
Yeah.
There's no point wheeling him out and he's only bowling 89 miles an hour and he's spraying it all over the place. Like, you need the 95 mile an hour version. Otherwise, there's sort of no point with a player like that.
Yep.
Cool. I think Mumbai, they're the obvious favourite. And then tomorrow afternoon, Delhi v RCB. Probably not as much riding on this, but this is RCB's opportunity to get into the top 2, isn't it? Or to at least give themselves realistic prospects of finishing the top 2. That would maybe leapfrog them. Well, it would leapfrog them above Delhi, although Delhi would retain their game in hand. I think it's a pure 50-50.
I was just about to say this is like flip of a coin. That's the insight you like, isn't it? They're both sides that we looked at and thought were okay, looked at as traditional sides that can completely flop, and neither of them have done the bad stuff this year. They've both been pretty good. And I'd maybe, if I'm going to put my neck on the line, I will lean RCB very slightly.
The thing I am a little bit worried about from a Delhi point of view is the openers and Josh Hazlewood and how that could break things open a little early. Now, RCB don't always use Hazlewood as an opening bowler, but if Delhi are walking around with Abhishek Parel and Karen Nair, you would think that makes quite a nice target to go out and try and make a dent early. Like, I think Delhi have got after those two, the batting lineup's sort of decent. KL Rahul's having a good year. Akshay Patel's versatile, if perhaps still maybe a little bit uninspiring as a number 4.
Quite reliable.
He's
though,
good.
isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good player.
bankable
I'm
for
not.
some runs.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not Nicholas Pooran, but he's also not Vijay Shankar. He's in the middle. That's what I'm saying. And then Tristan Stubbs and Ashutosh, like they're all sort of very, very middly, I would say. And I think if maybe you can put them under pressure by taking wickets early, they will revert to accumulation mode rather than trying to take the game away from you. And that potentially could be a way for RCB to do a little bit of damage. Though I suppose the spanner in the works for that is whether Faf du Plessis is back, because I imagine as soon as he is fit and able to play, he comes in, and that changes things a little bit. So
Absolutely.
that what I said there might not even happen. But if it does, I do think that's Delhi's probably their obvious weakness. I mean,
I think so, because obviously the plan has been open with Fraser McGurk and Faf du Plessis, and Fraser McGurk has been unusably bad, which could happen because that's how he plays cricket. And Faf du Plessis has been injured, so that is a big drop off, isn't it, to what the top end of your expectations is. It's I mean, in fairness to Abhishek Paral and Karen, they've actually been like decent.
Oh, they've got Delhi have had the performances they need to keep the train going, but I don't think. So we were talking about, just to use a completely different team, we were talking about Gujarat and how all 3 of their big guns have fired, and we were looking at Josh Butler's stats, and he's averaging like 70 with a strike rate of 175.
Yeah, it's extreme.
He's great. He's a great cricketer, but that's not a sustainable thing. Or if he does sustain that, that's the greatest season in the history of the IPL. It's like these things are not. You can play above
you're not
your level.
expecting them to be repeatable.
Yes, and that's where I am with Delhi, except at the level that I'm expecting them to
is a lot lower,
much lower.
It's about average Josh Butler.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, look, that's the end of pod, Max. Any final words from you?
All the usual stuff. Click like, click subscribe. Check us out on Patreon. All the good stuff. It's hotting up. I'm liking it.
Yep. You can find the Patreon link in the show notes if you want the cheats route. Goodbye.